Good afternoon. I think I'm one of the last things between you and a well-deserved lunch, so I'm just going to get right to it. So, a year ago, when I stood here in front of you, the conversation around artificial intelligence kind of seemed like a distant frontier. Today, it is the ground beneath our feet. We have witnessed significant adoption of and technological leaps in AI over the past 12 months. Open source weight models continue to grow in performance and capability. Just last week, Qwen 3 text-to-speech models were released. Amazing capabilities now under an open source license. The infrastructure required to enable agentic AI on top of these models is progressing rapidly, and it is open source. My 20-plus year career working in open source at Red Hat started with Linux. My focus has shifted to AI as a distinguished engineer, and one of the remarkable things about AI today and Linux in the early days, there's so many parallels. At the core is ensuring that technology serves people first. So what did that look like for Linux? Let's just do a quick review, okay? A global open source community builds projects around what they need. Those projects grow or wither based on their utility or maturity, which ultimately determines their adoption and success. Then vendors try to build competing silos, proprietary tooling, lock-in. The broader global community then pushes for open standards, cross-compatibility, and choice. Open ultimately wins. That's what we need now in this moment of AI. This Linux journey must be repeated, again, for us to achieve a wider set of policy and technology objectives. So by way of example, let me delve into my day job as an engineer leading various Red Hat upstream initiatives and share some insights as to the power of this collaboration with partners and customers across Europe. Open source projects like VLLM and LLMD have emerged as the global reference standard for inference at scale. Open source projects like LangGraph, AutoGen, CrewAI, A2A, many others lead in the agentic AI space. Open standards, such as the Model Context Protocol, which enables LLMs to wield tools and actually do things, not just talk. Those have flourishing open ecosystems now. Many applications are now already making those tools available. These examples prove that the most complex infrastructure problems are solved not in silos, but in the open, in the global digital commons. This global scope is not a vulnerability. It is our greatest strength. To build the best AI, Europe must accept and leverage this global innovation engine. It's not perfect, but the global nature of the community is a strength to be leveraged and not feared. To reach that sovereignty goal, we must repeat the Linux success story. So how did Red Hat succeed with Linux? It was by collaborating and transforming raw community innovation and providing enterprise-grade hardening, security, lifecycle support that is required for mission-critical systems. That's the glue that is required to run open source software in production. Amongst thousands of possible references, let's highlight some key examples that my organization has been involved with. So, Red Hat's impact in the EU spans a diverse spectrum of organizations. It serves as a catalyst for open source collaboration and innovation in both the public and private sectors. So in the public sector, here are examples from France, Spain, and Germany. La Poste have utilized enterprise open source platforms to deliver essential services. Valencia City Council have modernized their application environments to improve citizen engagement, while ITZ Bund created an IT architecture that not only meets both the security and data protection requirements, but also the requirements of a modern development platform. A consistent open source foundation enables the creation of digital experiences without compromising technological independence, all using open source software provided and produced by a global digital commons. In the private sector, Project Silva, it's an open source framework initiated by Europe's Big Five, Orange, Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone, Telefonica, and Telecom Italia, along with European network providers Ericsson and Nokia. Project Silva underscores a deep commitment to open source collaboration, leveraging a community-driven model to solve the telecommunication industry's challenge of fragmented legacy infrastructure. A collaborative approach allows service providers to break up silos and share the burden of development. Ultimately, this project exemplifies the power of open source by building foundational layers together. This enables individual companies to move away from managing siloed proprietary stacks and instead focusing their resources on innovation, building better together and faster. The Linux journey and its underpinning open innovation model must be a core part of the upcoming competitiveness and sovereignty package, as explained by Fabrizia in her panel earlier this morning. There's a few more days to contribute your input, so fellow open source engineers in the audience, the Commission wants to hear from you. The resonating conclusion from that panel is that true sovereignty is not just about where the code was born. It's about the control of the code and the technology. It is found in the no lock-in nature of open source licensing. Even if a vendor disappears, the customer retains rights to modify and use that code. The flag of the contributor or the flag of the project is a distraction that doesn't change the nature of the delivery. AI factories are a potential shop window for open source AI. The EU is making historic investments in AI factories and gigafactories to build world-class computing power. Most of this investment is being allocated on hardware, much of which comes from outside of Europe. There's a relatively thin slice carved out for software, and thus open source AI has a great opportunity to flourish. We need to do more to heighten political awareness of the global collaboration driving open source solutions. We'll be seeing this on the back of the recent EU-India trade deal and in action next week at the AI Impact Summit in Delhi. Now, one risk is losing sight of what made open source such a powerful collaborative tool in the first place: the capability to engage and innovate across a global commons between nations and organizations, between industry and academia, regardless of competitive stance. We've heard this theme brought up throughout the day already. While seemingly inward-focused impulses are quite understandable in a turbulent geopolitical environment, they risk fragmenting and undermining the very power and benefit of that global commons. Any nation bloc requiring a certain percentage of regionally sourced or made-in requirements on software that is inherently global is choosing to limit its potential. How? These limitations risk a costly reinvention of existing ecosystems, which will divert critical resources away from actual innovation. These limitations are antithetical to the essence of open source licensing and the fundamental freedoms that it guarantees. And finally, these limitations, most scarily, may trigger copycat actions from other areas of the world, fragmenting and isolating communities. This will dramatically slow open source innovation. The compounding impact of that could be quite bleak. We have a unique opportunity to further empower more European providers to supply open source solutions by fully benefiting from a global community and our respective roles to give back and contribute upstream to our community projects. Red Hat has a mantra, upstream first. And when building software, that emphasizes the importance of enabling both partners and customers to bolster their open innovation strategy. Upstream first also benefits the global ecosystem at large with the same innovative results, allowing anyone to build on top in a virtuous cycle of innovation. So rather than re-implementing everything in silos, we're just going further, faster, better together. We see this institutional shift taking root in the development of open source program offices in the public. We see this from the free software unit in Germany, or the free software unit in France, to Germany's Zendes, and even within the UN. OSPOs are becoming centers of excellence that allow governments to manage digital risk and capture global innovation. Many of these great examples will be sharing their latest developments for global collaboration during tomorrow's FOSDEM. Now, collaborating upstream is also important in the world of public policy. Thanks to constructive engagement with the EU policymakers, we significantly improved the CRA with open source organizations in the room from OFE, Eclipse, ORC, Linux Foundation Europe, Apache, and many more. There's still more improvements to come, and we are also investing in and engaging in European standards bodies to reflect how modern digital products are actually built in the open. This is a new model that bridges the gap connecting consumers, manufacturers, open source stewards and maintainers, which will foster collective responsibility across Europe and around the world. This is a model that will be ideal to reuse for upcoming EU legislation to mitigate unintended consequences on this amazing community. So, in conclusion, my New Year's wish for the community is that we move beyond sovereignty washing and that Europe realizes this once-in-a-generation opportunity to dramatically boost this open source community that we all know and love. A Europe that sees its civil servants not just as users, but as active contributors to the global projects that they are increasingly pivoting towards. This is a theme that Paula will be moderating in her panel later today. So what does a healthy, sustainable open source community look like? It is one where the contributors and the consumers are in balance. It is a community where diversity is a key indicator of value, drawing from a global talent pool to ensure no single entity can pull a kill switch on our digital lives. We must protect our ability to build together. Sovereignty is not a bunker. It is the power to choose. Let us build a future where Europe's digital destiny is forged in the open, anchored in trust, and powered by the most successful collaborative experiment in human history. Thank you.